Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and salam maju Johor to our fellow listeners tuning into today's episode after a long time. Without further ado, we, the producers of Johor Talk, bring you the pride and the project of Johor State Education Department introducing the Johor Student Leaders Council Cohort 12. We have a respective representative from JSLC Cohort 12, which is JSL Yam and JSL Eldon, who are joining us today. So, JSL Yam, JSL Eldon, how are you guys doing?
Hi, JSLC, we are doing great. Just would like to introduce myself. I'm JSL Yamuna, Project Director of JSLC Cohort 12, currently studying in SMK IJ Convent Johor Bahru and being 17 years old.
Hi, JSLC. My name is Jiao Aringan Jinghan, and I'm one of the member of JSLC Cohort 12, and I was the event manager for 9 JSLC. So currently, I'm studying in high school more, and I'm 17 years old.
All right, that is awesome. Right, that's right, viewers. I bet you're thinking, what is the deal with these positions being mentioned? Would you believe that these young lads in front of you have organized and carried out an entire international conference? Rest assured that your socks is about to be blown off in a bit. Now, without any dilly-dally, Jessel Yam, Jason Eldon, why don't you provide our viewers with some context regarding what is JSLC and what is JISLC? The floor is yours.
So, dear viewers, just a little context on what is JSLC, which is the Johor Student Leaders Council. It's basically an elite group of student leaders in Johor, comprising of some of Johor's exceptional young talents. This is an initiative by JPNJ, the Johor State Education Department, with partnership with the Iskandar Regional Development Authority, IRDA. And the conference that Jasal Shift is talking about is the Johor International Student Leaders Conference, JSLC, that we, the JSLC Cohort 12 members, held with the team Digital Universe Exploring the Cybercosmos.
Wow. I still can't believe that these young Johorian students have reached such a huge milestone at only a young age of 17. I guess that piques all of our curiosity as I speak on behalf of the viewers out there. What is the unclosed, untold stories of being an organizer of such a big scale event, especially at the international level? So, what was it like planning and executing the 9th Johor International Student Leaders Conference?
Okay, so basically, right, to be one of the event organizers, can say. So obviously, if you want to conduct like a very huge event and such that international level, confirm you face a lot of challenges, you face a lot of issues, and also a lot of the problems that makes your head going to boom at that particular moment sometimes. So luckily, I'm an quite optimistic guy. So basically, if I face some problems, I don't really feel desperate or even depressed. But I know that it's because there's a will, there's a way. But every problem has its own solution, right? But if I keep on reminiscing, like keep on remembering like what is happening during the journey to prepare for this 9 SLC, there's a huge problem that made me to almost to be suffocated and while I was trying to tackle it. I can still remember vividly like that was 16 April 2024, which is like 4 days before our event. So that day, when I was doing like groundwork with my cohort mates and also my deputy event manager, so we are doing the works, and then suddenly my deputy event manager told me that one of our contacted honored keynote speakers unable to join our conference. So because of some family issues, so wow, at that particular moment, I was totally astounded. I don't know what to do because it just left 4 days, and you all need to know that it is really hard to contact a keynote speakers. It need to take months. We need to negotiate about our price, about the time, confirming about the flight ticket, and so on and so forth. A lot of the things to confirm, and I remember that at least one keynote speakers will take up to weeks and even months. So basically, it just left 4 days for us to continue and also conduct that event. And we need to come up with one new keynote speakers with the same reputations, talking about technology, which is related to the theme as what JSL Young has mentioned just now, in just 4 days. So at that particular moment, I can say like I was totally speechless when I heard that news. And then obviously, since because we can't even call off or maybe like cancel or defer the program already. So basically, we just have a very urgent meeting, and then all of us just gather together, brainstorming. And luckily, yeah, obviously, there's everything. Cloudy sky will have a white lightning. So basically, my sponsorship manager, which is JSL, she got a contact. Means that that particular day, she got a contact, which is there's a technology company is going to sponsor us a keynote speaker. So wow, it's just a close shave that luckily and last we got a new speakers to replace that particular keynote speakers, which because of some family issues, absence and not attending our JSLC. So that is the main challenges that I have faced, and it remember vividly until today. It's already engraved in my mind basically. So yeah, it is unforgettable.
So it's safe to say that JSL Alden, that in every grey cloud there's indeed a silver lining, that any close shave there is always a save to be made, and your team has managed to make it happen. Just for the viewers context, why don't you guys just provide the viewers with who were the keynote speakers, and if possible, what were the topics that they spoke about during the conference? Would that be okay?
So the keynote speakers there's absent. Actually, initially we planned to have Rauda Nazran as our keynote speakers, and the topics that she'll be talking about is related to the technologies at the same time economics. Means that how technology advanced the economies in the world, because she is the CEO of Accelerator Group. So basically, she know about all these kind of things in the aspect of economy. But suddenly, because if I'm not mistaken, is her husband's grandparents or her husband's father passed away in Croatia, so she was forced to go together with her husband to go to Croatia to have to manage some family issues. So basically, she can't attend our conference. So we are forced to do so and change our keynote speakers to another person, which is the keynote speakers like from the technological group. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, yes, Alden. What about you, Jessel Yamuna? You have mentioned that your position earlier was the project director. So it is indeed a no-brainer that the entire conference was definitely on your shoulders, because as the project director, I assume that the huge responsibility was on you. So what would you say were the extreme highs and lows throughout your time in managing the conference and also making this event into the reality that it is?
Okay, so we heard it from Eldon's point of view, and he did say that there are multiple, difficulties along the way. But as the project director, I not only get input from my own difficulties, but from every single department, which means is if the event department has a difficulty, it comes to me. So does the finance, sponsorship, and all the other departments. And although the event department's problem regarding the keynote speaker was a huge deal back then, I would say one of the biggest lows that we got during the conference is from my finance manager. So we have this unspoken bond between me and Jessa Lim, our finance manager. And every time anything, because I'm an account student, so anything regarding finance, she comes to find me. And like during this conference, we were striving hard to make it a success. And the profit or not is not a huge deal. But of course, in your side eye, you would be looking out for it as well. So that time, I remember it was, I think, 2 days before we left for our groundwork. And then I was outside settling some other family issues. And Jessa Lim called me, and then she started crying. Then I was like, wait, hold up, Lim, what's up? And then she told me, yeah, we profit. And then suddenly she started crying like actual tears. And then I got like, what? We profit. But wait, hold up. Right after that, in about 10 minutes, she calls me back and she's like, wait, actually, I forgot to deduct this money. So yeah, basically my finance life and my life is like a roller coaster. It goes up and then it goes down. So as a project director, I'm an optimistic person, but at the same time, there's a lot of stress to deal with because there are so many departments under me, and the pressure to maintain every single department, make sure everybody is doing their job, is definitely on me. And I want to say kudos to Jessel Eldon because every time event has a problem, I would basically tell them the basic thing to do and then they would solve it by themselves. So it was like not a huge deal on me. But all these lows that we gone through was definitely worth it, I would say, because at the end, on the day of the conference, right after it ended, we all were together and like the smile and the tears that they shared made me so proud. I felt like a mother there. I felt so proud that we did this conference and it became a success.
Wow, that is indeed interesting. The highs were extremely highs and the lows were down devastatingly low. You've mentioned about profit. Now I think that all of us, the viewers and me myself would definitely be curious regarding this. So by the end of the conference, what was the total profit that you guys have made? And what is the purpose and where is this where is this profit of yours going to be redirected towards? Is it going to be for future activities, or is it going to go to a charity, or what is generally the idea of the profit that you've made?
So I would like to proudly announce that JSLC Cohort 12 have earned a profit of 212,918 ringgit. Applause. So this amount of money would be going to serving the community, or might I say the youth, but not directly. So as you know, we are the 12th cohort. So this money would be going to our upcoming cohort, cohort 13, in funding their upcoming events like JCamp and also their conference, as well as their trainings for them to become remarkable JSLs.
Wow, I would be lying if I told you that that particular number you mentioned is unimpressive. It is indeed mind-boggling, to be very honest and frank, because that amount of money is being redirected again. And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong here. The motto of JSLC is to serve and to excel. So is this a form of you guys serving back to your youths, to your juniors?
Yes, definitely. Because you do know that to start something, you do need a certain amount of money. So we not only serve the community with our conference by helping the youth understand more of the digital universe, but we also use the profit to serve our next cohort.
Well, again, I am lost for words, to be honest. However, I'm sure with us mentioning your age from the start, and also there might be this little person, this little thought in the back of everyone's head, the viewers, and even me, to be frank, that you guys are still student at the end of the day. That is the fact. We can't run from that. I would be lying to myself if I said that how that this question didn't arise when I say that. How did you guys manage to handle this extracurricular activity while trying to make end meet between your school and your personal relationship between family and friends? How was that part of your journey throughout being a JSL?
So initially as a JSL, obviously like the first few months, I feel really quite stressed and pressured lah because I need to handle three things at the same time, which is my education, my family, and also JSLC. So these three things I should handle it simultaneously. So basically, if I miss or lost one side, it would be a very bad to me. So it's just like a level balance. I need to maintain all the time. So, but the thing is, everything take time. So basically, just after a few months, and I already get accustomed to it, and then I know how great the whole thing it is, and how the flow it is, and the most important thing is I already know how to master the time management in between my education, my family, my friends, my teachers, and also my JSLCs, all the around my circle. So yeah, obviously it will be something that allow me to keep on continue my journey in the JSLC, which is Johor Student Leader Council, and allows me to keep advancing and keep on conducting a lot of the programs, and as well as the last programs, which is JSLC. Yeah.
What about you, Yam? How was it like for you personally to balance out and make ends meet?
So from my point of view, balancing would mean 50-50, but my one went for a more like 60-40 kind of thing. Because when I joined JSLC, it was like a lifetime achievement because I never thought that I would actually be able to become a JSL member. So when I got into JSLC and we had to host events, especially our latest event, the conference, there was so many problems in between, especially us being 17 years old students sitting for SPM this year. And like teachers at schools they would like prioritize academics other more than extracurricular, but that didn't sit right for me. So the 40% went to school and the 60% went to JSLC. Basically a priority because even when there is definitely you have to prioritize one over the other. And when you prioritize something, there would be parties that get beneficial from it, and there are those that don't really get it. So my school teachers, some of them were very understanding of me joining JSLC, thankfully. So regarding my homework base and me needing to skip school because of focusing on JSLC, did sit right with them and they did help me cope once I ended the conference. And regarding family cope, I don't think it was a huge deal because my family was really supportive throughout the whole journey. It's just that I'm very thankful of being a JSL member because through JSLC, we not only host events, but we learn all these soft skills like time management and such, which definitely helped me cope and also balance school life and work life.
Ooh, that's quite unique. I will be honest with you. However, it does dawn upon me that I mean, when we talk about going through a journey, going through something that would break you down and build you back up, that's definitely the moment where you think that this is it. Beyond this, I can't do it. I can't succumb to the pressure, and I feel like I need to take my hands off and just leave this. Has that moment ever dawned upon you? Has that thought of I think it's getting too tough that I should quit and perhaps put my time into um something more easier, or maybe just divert all my extra time into studies. Has that ever dawned upon both of y'all? And if so, what was that particular part like?
Actually, yes, for me, obviously, because sometimes, especially when my teachers keep asking me like, why are you not in school for such that long time? Or maybe even my parents keep asking me that, so why is there so many trainings that they're going to go for it, so many groundwork and so on and so forth. So basically, I quite feel pressured. And then when I go to school, I saw some of my friends, like normal friends that are not JSL, and also they are just not really active in their co-curricular activities. They can just playing together with one another and just having fun. No stress at all, just homework and play in their life. These two things only. So sometimes I also keep imagining how great it is. And is it possible like one day I will be like them, which is just two things in my life, sleep and three things, sleep, play, and then homework. Yeah, just three things. But after a very serious consideration, I found that if your life is just only have these kind of things, it will be quite meaningless also sometimes. Because you need to have some things like JSLC, which allows you to improve yourself basically. If your life is just keep on very monotonous, which is quite mundane, I don't think it is really worth to be here, like in this beautiful world. You should try to find something that really can make your life to be enlightened, and at the same time to let your life as well as journey to be something which is more challenging. If your life is always just monotonous, just tedious, it will be not such that good, and at the same time you won't get motivated and it won't even help your future at all. So after a serious consideration, I know that where am I? I should stay in JSLC and continue the journey until the end of the whole training courses and so on and so forth.
So it's safe to say that Eldon, you're someone who enjoys the pressure. You like that thrill of your blood rushing feeling, giving that feeling that you're alive inside, huh? What about you, Yamuna? What was your low?
Okay, so I'm a person who, okay, I would say myself an academic weapon, not currently though, in the past. So after my Form 4 final year exam, my score was not bad, but it was, let's say, average. And looking at my peers scoring really good marks made me feel like I was not one of them. Like I was one of them before, but I am not now. So because when I joined the JSLC, of course, academic was part of my life, but I didn't really give that much of a huge importance to it because I thought I would catch up after I'm done serving as a Cohort 12 member. But that examination really struck upon me, looking at me not being able to achieve that academic results that I wanted to, but still went on. And then there was this one time where me and also my deputy assistant project director, Jaisal Irfan, we both went to KPM at Putrajaya to claim for the Kuku marks for our conference. And during that time, I had like a call with my mom, and then we were like planning like, okay, because that time our conference was supposed to be in February. I think if you guys keep on update with our Instagram, you would see that our dates changed quite a bit. So initially it was supposed to be in February. So like my mom was like planning with me, okay, in March we'll start studying and stuff like that. And then suddenly after the meeting with the KPM people, we got the news that our conference would have to be in April. And that really, okay, sorry guys, my internet connection was not very stable just now. Can you guys hear me now?
Yep, you are clear as day. You may continue.
All right, so as I was saying, I was on call with my mom, planning on studying in March, because that was when our Form 5 era was going to start. And then suddenly we had this meeting with KPM and we talked to our officer, our madam, and then we got to the decision where our conference would have to be in April. And can I just say that I was stunned? I didn't know what to do that time. And the first person I saw was Irfan beside me. And he looked at me back and I looked at him. We had like a 10-second eye contact and he was like, it's okay, we'll discuss this at night. So we had dinner and then we went out to Basbeh to have a supper. And then at there, I couldn't handle it anymore. I broke down to him and I started crying. I was like, what's going to happen to academic weapon Yamuna? What's going to happen to SPM? What's going to happen to us? And then he was like, no, it's fine. And this one thing that I would like to share, I'm so grateful for is having JSLC Cohort 12 by my side. From an outside perspective, we might seem like, colleagues in a workplace or cohort mates in a cohort. But for me, I feel like we're family and they are like my brothers and sisters. So like they share the same sorrows that I shared. So that time when Irfan told me that if we are going to go down, we go down together. So if we are going to go through this challenge, we are going through it together. So this one bond or this one friendship that we have in this cohort is what made me continue to strive as a JSL in this cohort.
Oh, I mean, the bond, the friendship, it is indeed something that many of us would never get to experience because it's a very close-knitted system. But I'm also a little bit curious to know, considering we all have very Asian parents who are very result-oriented, how was your parents' take regarding the whole date change and the whole academic Yamuna not being able to come back, being put on hold for the time being?
So my mom, okay, she was kind of understanding of this, but my dad was the one that was like, oh, like no, this cannot happen. But then like I tried explaining to him, and he sort of understood that being a member of JSLC is not something that would come upon anybody. And this experience and opportunity is something very golden that his daughter got somehow. So with that, he was like, okay, you do put on your best, put everything into JSLC, and when that's done, we'll focus on SPM. So it was kind of okay. I mean, Asian parents' tactics, the manipulation system. So it worked well.
So, dear viewers, you heard it here first that we are indeed breaking stereotypes of Asian parents. But before we move on to the next segment, Eldon, what about your parents? How were they throughout your journey as a JSL?
Yes. Initially, obviously, they are not really, what is it called, quite supporting because a lot of the training and so on and so forth. And then suddenly there's a changing of the dates as what just Muna has mentioned just now. But same lah, because all of us are having an Asian parents, right? So my parents also keep on pushing me about like my academics and so and like because SPM is also around the corner. And not saying that our SPM is already what they call like being bring forward means that it is going to happen this year. So my parents quite worried about my result and so on and so forth. But the thing is, one more thing I want to talk about is Asian parents actually they're really good because not only pushing you at the same time they were helping you, they were guiding you. So they don't just only using their mouth and push you and keep on like asking you to do this and do that, but at the same time they'll guide you. So basically my parents say that okay, never mind, it's already the program is already deterred to like April, right? So never mind, after April, May, let us strive together. I will be accompanying with you and then let us strive for our SPM. So it's quite touching lah, especially when my moms talk about these kind of things. Yeah.
Wow. I just can't believe. I don't know the viewers. Can you guys feel the amount of positive radiance that is vibrating off of Eldon from the start of our podcast all the way up here? There's just been nothing short of positive kindness and just this warm touch every time Eldon's giving his story or his view about this. Now we will move on to our next segment, which is indeed a very heavy segment. But before that, we'll be back after a 5 minutes break. All right, welcome back, viewers. Now, we will move on to, I would say, an interesting segment. Now, before we go any further, or before I even tell you guys what segment this is, can we all just take a moment? Let's all breathe. You know, there's been a lot of emotions that has spilled out throughout the podcast. Whew. Now, we've seen you guys claim and also it is indeed shown that you guys are the best of the best. You guys are representing Johor itself. Now, we can say that to a degree of extent, but how are we going to prove it to our viewers that you guys are the best of the best? Now, this is just a heart-to-heart session between me to you guys. I want to know, I want to showcase the ability for you guys to think outside the box. And I want to make sure our viewers can see it in a full frame effect, right? So, the topic that we'll be discussing, or rather hearing both of your opinions on, is the topic called Is Education the Most Important Thing in Life? And if so, why? Now, Jessel Alden, Jessel Yam, just take a deep breath and then we can begin it right away. The floor is yours.
So for me, education undeniably important, but it is not the most important thing in our life. So there are a lot of the things that is also plays a quite important role, or even much more important than education. First of all, the things that comes to my mind will be public relation, which is our friends, our families, and the relationship between we ourselves and also with others in our circle. It's because there's an idiom saying no man is on an island. So basically, it is very important to have your friends together with you in the journey to succeeding your SPMs or maybe your result academics. And also it's important to have a family with you when you are facing a lot of challenges, dilemma even, then yeah, they can really help you a lot. And then it's also really to have importance to have your teachers and other people and also your juniors, seniors, which allow you to keep on improving yourself no matter in what academics or in sports, co-curricular activities, and so on and so forth. And then and one more thing that my parents always tell me, which is much more important than your academics, than your education, will be your health. Yes, health is very, very important. Health is the key for everything. No matter how is it, just make sure you always maintain your body in a healthy condition. Don't take it like, oh, too pressured because of your study, too pressured because of any programs or events. The most important thing is your health. Is because health is something that is prolonged as it will bring the effect to your future. Whereas education, maybe it can be prolonged, but most of the time it should be temporary, which is just at a particular moment for Malaysia standard. I think it's just when you are born and then until you're 17. If you want to further your study, just about like 25 and 26, some sort like that. So basically, education is just a short term, but your health is a long term process. So instead of keep learning how to succeed in your education, why don't you learn how to succeed in your health first? And then with a healthy lifestyle, with a healthy body, and obviously, lah, you can have a better achievement as well as accomplishment in your education. So this is the point of view. I feel that education is not the main thing, but it is important, but not as important as your whole life. Yeah.
Dear viewers, hearing Eldon just speak about having a good, positive, and healthy lifestyle really makes me feel like I should just get up and go run a 5K right now, because that's how convincing he sounds. I don't know about the viewers, but personally, me, Eldon, I really feel like I should end this podcast right now and go ahead and live a healthy lifestyle immediately after hearing your speech. What about you, Yamuna? What is your thoughts and opinion regarding, is education the most important thing in life?
Okay, so as I said before, I am kind of an academically oriented person. So being surrounded with other academic weapons makes me feel very pressured. So I think a 17-year-old girl or boy living in Malaysia, and you guys say that academics don't take a toll in your mental health, then I would definitely salute you because it's not the same going here. So basically, like what Eldon said, I would definitely be on the stance that education is definitely something super important, but it is not your whole life. And it is very concerning to see that a lot of students and youth this age making it as if it is. Like if you don't finish this homework in this due date or you don't reach this due date, it's as if it's the end of your life. Being absent from school. This kind of, I wouldn't say petty thing, of course, it has to be taken into account, but still there is a lot more to life beyond education. And when you compare education to soft skills, I would say that soft skills is something more practical as you're going to apply that in your future. Because a lot of them tell me that once you leave your school, the first thing they're going to ask you is what you got for your SPI. I mean, that is what they would ask a person. But when you want to go into unis or workplace interviews, they would ask you about your academic achievement. But the next thing they're going to follow up the question is, by asking what sets you different from the other candidates, or what can you do? What is something you, and you can't just say you're going to study all day, because these soft skills like networking with people, and also being able to communicate, like Eldon said just now, PR, public relations, these are all the amazing and important soft skills that one person must uphold in order to survive in this progressing world. So education is definitely not the most important thing. It is important, but it's not your whole life.
Okay, that is really an interesting approach from both of you guys. Would you say that the opinions you shared is coming from the Gen Z's generational view? Because if we were to have the discussion with someone who was, let's say, 5 years older than you guys, perhaps even if we went a little bit more to a 7 to 10 years age gap, they would indeed be giving us a different answer in a sense where they would be like, oh yeah, life is very result oriented, the piece of paper determines your life. So would you say that being a Gen Z you are today has kind of shaped this general view regarding education as the conservative way people have always looked at it? What do you guys say about that?
Okay, so for me, luckily my parents is not such an education-oriented persons. They're still okay with that as long as you just maintain a result. But obviously, like my teachers, yeah, they are those educational oriented. So basically, they need your academics and everything should be like A plus, which is very good, excellence, flying colors. But for me, I don't think their opinion is always right because you need to know that nowadays work-life balance and same goes to academic life balance. So you live in this world is not just only to study and also for education. There are a lot of other purposes for you to stay in this world. You try to imagine that your whole life, your whole days just keep on inundating with books and those can be said like notes or even like flyers and resumes, all these kind of things. So yeah, obviously it will be suffocated, right? But for me, I think that this world is very beautiful and there are a lot of beauty in our surroundings. So why don't we just use some of our time and try to explore the beauty of the world? It's because obviously like you always studying, yeah, maybe you can get some things like you know about this world from books, but you can't really have that what is called self experience towards that, because everything is just you receive. You can't really experience yourself by going that areas. For example, you read a book talk about tourism, so basically you know about some other places, like you know about China got this kind of thing, that kind of things, and then you know about Japan's got sakura and so on and so forth, but I don't really know about that. Actually, no, because you didn't experience it at all. So I think that it's much better to have experience instead. You just keep on studying or maybe focusing on education. And same goes to I want to talk to my teacher also, which is what is the purpose of nowadays KPM implementing experiment to all of us? Is because I want us to try, right? Want us to have some fun during the classes, like the science experiment and so on and so forth. And then, so this is a reason we don't keep on focusing on our education, but at the same time, we should try out something which we that have not experienced at all. So the experiments, the not only just theory, but we should have some practical. So this is my point of view, which is education oriented is should not be such that strict enough, and then we should be open-minded and then try to explore about something new and extraordinary in this world instead of just keep focusing on our education. Yeah.
What about you, Yam? What is your take on it?
Okay, so I would definitely say that our approach is more Gen Zized compared to the traditional way because, I mean, I think if you're going to call some Asian parents or somebody who's like 5 to 10 years older than us, definitely they will be like, no, academic is more important and stuff like that. But our approach, we're not saying that academic is not important, but there is more to life and you can have fun as well as also be an academic weapon. Like, okay, let's take Alden for example. He's my AdMed Sifu, so he gets A plus for AdMeds, but at the same time, he can still have fun in life. Like, I would be like stressing out for AdMeds, and I'll be like, "Yo, Alden, can you like help me with this?" And then we'll like study, and then the next second we'll have fun and we'll go back to studying. And also, like being in JSLC has definitely opened our eyes on the importance of soft skills, which I don't think people older than us, like not very Gen Zized people, would take it as a very practical approach in life, which we do. Because, like, let's just say you are a straight A plus student and stuff like that, but you don't even know how to go and network with another person. How is that going to, affect your future? And also, like Alden said just now, health is so important and mental health is so important on these days, which I would personally say those who are not Gen Z don't take it very seriously. They're more like studyholics or workaholics, which Gen Z people view it from a different corner, different way, that academic is important, but there are more things that's more important than that, like health and etc.
I I need a moment to really soak up everything because a part of me does not believe that these are 17-year-old kids coming out here giving not only opinion that is as some would call politically correct, but also just like really refresh your mind because like wow, okay, this is how the young generation looks at things, in such a broad spectrum. Like I know I said earlier that we needed to prove to our viewers that you guys are, as the French would call it, the creme de la creme of students in Johor. You guys indeed deserve the title and take the crown. It's absolutely awesome to have that conversation to really get this. It's very insightful even for me. Now, with that, as sad as it is for me to say this, we have reached the end of our podcast. And before we wrap up, I would just like to say that we have been conversing and sharing a variety of things. Um, and before we go, both to you, JSL Eldon and also JSL Yamuna, is there anything that you guys would like to share to your friends or to your juniors or to whoever it may be out there? Just a little message that you would like to share to them right before we end the podcast.
So For me, I'd like to say that life is something that's very special. So don't keep on when doing the journey, like pursuing some things, don't like keep on feeling depressed or desperate if you can't achieve something. There's a lot of the things that you around you. So basically you should try yourself, calm yourself, and then look around you and you will discover about the beauty of the world and something that is extraordinary around you. So don't keep on just focusing on one thing and then neglecting the others. Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting approach, Eldon. Because if you do say the fact, see, because your whole argument here is saying that health is wealth, and you know that there are other things, and you predominantly touched on the fact that health is a bigger thing. But then, don't you think that if I, for example, were to just go out there and invest all my time, money, effort, and even my future into being an athlete or even being someone who is active, would that would that save my future in a sense where could I put food on the table? Could I run a family by just predominantly focusing on my health? Because on the flip side, some would argue that I rather die at the age of 30, 40, but at least I'm leaving this amount of wealth for my family so that they are being safe, that my generations to come don't need to worry about it. What do you think from that sense of view?
Okay, so I know that there's some of the people that think about that, like, oh, I just earn as much money as possible, and then I just really go like pass away. It doesn't matter because my new generations will continue to have their money and they can use those money. But for me, I think that first, that kind of the person is quite selfish. Okay, why I say like that is because they just prioritize their own family and not prioritizing the whole country and even the world. Because you need to know that the advancing of the country and even the world is not just short term, it should be long term and it takes ages or times. So basically, if that kind of the person, we know that he or she can earn a lot of money. So basically, he or she will be a talented and gifted person. So why don't he or she just using his her abilities in advancing and progressing our countries and then live longer and then they can come out with a lot of new inventions as well as a lot of new development instead just focusing on their own money and then once okay I already earned such the amount of money and I just pass away. And then one more thing I would like to talk about is also that kind of the person actually they don't really enjoy their life. It's because you need to know that life there are a lot of the thing exploring. Since due today, which is 17 May 2024, humans' perception towards ocean is just only 5% and not even more than 5%. So basically you see such that long time we're still exploring about the ocean just up to 5%. You can imagine or not? Like the world, there's still a lot of the things that we need to imagine, and especially the core of the earth and so on and so forth. Okay. Now we're back to the topic. So why health is such that important than education? Is because from the scientific aspects, it is a fundamental need for survival. This is the first thing. And then we need to know that everything is not important, but the most important thing is survive. Once you're surviving in this world, you can continue to do whatever you want. Next, I would like to talk about is once your health is happening, some problems, there's some health problems on you yourself, actually it will affect the economics of a country. Okay, let's drive the image to a global aspect. For example, if you are a person who is really smart, who is really talented, really bravo, can be said like from the aspect of education and academic, and once you have graduated, you got a new job, you got a very high level job and so on and so forth, and you can really impact the whole country. It means that every single actions that you have made, you could change the world, you can change the country. You try to imagine like you have such that kind of the knowledge, but you don't have a great health, how it will be. You just only be qualified to be staying in home instead of going job. This is the thing. So I back to the thing is I think it is very important to prioritize your health first instead prioritizing your education. Even though you are not really good at academic, but if you have a good health, you can still advance as well as like developing the country or even earning the money using another way around. For example, we know that there are a lot of the people that are not very good at academic but lastly successful, like those vendors and also those can be said like the cleaners, not to discriminate them, but actually they're really hardworking enough to earn money. So basically, they're not prioritizing education, but they can still live peacefully, nicely, and also live tranquilly, which means that yeah, obviously health is much more important than the education. And also I would like to point out with one more thing is also known as why we cannot prioritize education but we need to prioritize our health is because if we have a good, healthy body, it would affect the people around us. For example, if we don't have a good body, we don't really in a healthy condition, and then we may infected with some diseases, and it will affect the other people too. So this is the reason why I say that kind of people with just only prioritizing education and not prioritizing their health quite selfish, because they may affect the other people to have some health problem also. And then it may cause a chain effect, which means that once affected another, another affected another, and this will cause a deterioration of our human civilization. And same goes to like dinosaur. Why the dinosaur will be extinct? Is because due to a lot of the health issues, and at the same time due to the climate change. So the health issue is because the lack of food causing a lot of health issues. So this is the reason why we should prioritizing health instead of education.
That is very interesting. But however, I would like to also provide a counter argument saying that is that, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but is there a possibility that you are saying this from a sense of the fact that you are a JSL and you have gone through vigorous training in the ability to manage your time properly? Because let's be honest, look at the general statistics, people and time management is indeed far away. And if we do live in this ideal world that you've said, of course everybody would be able to go to work 9 to 5 and come back and do some sort of activity. But it's also, if, and correct me again when correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys did also mention the fact that in order to gain something you need to lose something. There's never truly a win-win situation. And how are you going to be the key person in leading your country or in being the best of the best to provide something that is great for not only for yourself, for your family, but also for your country, if you're not able to harness your full potential in education? For example, if we are going by the standards or the sort of guidelines that you've set, everything should be 50-50. But what if that person puts 90% of effort into education and perhaps 5% into managing their relationships and another 5% into health? Don't you think that that is more ideal? Because end of the day, we need these young students, these young leaders such as you guys to be able to run the country. And how can we do that if everybody isn't putting both of their foot down and securing a proper education? What do you think about that?
Okay, so I know that it's impossible to maintain both the things at that particular time for most of the people. So yeah, obviously, if this kind of the situation happens, for me, because I know that it's impossible to do so, so why don't humans, like all of us, we try to do so? Okay, I know it's impossible, but we try to do so. At least we strive to do, because I know that some of the people, as well as most of the nowadays, the teenagers and also like the workers, they're just prioritizing their work, their education. So they're just, can we say like not 60-40, but it's just straight away like education is 100 and another one health is 0%. So I'm not supporting on that part. But the things that I'm supporting is 60% for the health and 40% for the education. Not saying that you are going to neglect your education, but you should prioritizing your health first. Once you come with your health, straight away you go for your education, which is the another 40%. Yeah. So, and then I believe that in this kind of the context, basically it will not be a problem. It's because you need to know that education, this kind of the things, it is depends on that person. For example, like some person is really good at education. Once they just go through one time for the script or maybe like some context, and they can know about the whole thing. And some people maybe they need to take some time. But basically it just depends on the person. So it just depends on how you manage your time. And now I'm going to assure the thing is just make sure that don't neglect your education, but prioritize your health. Yes.
Well, there you go, fellow viewers. We have Eldon once again convincing all of us that the impossible is actually possible, which I'll be frank, very well constructed argument. You've managed to address the key downfalls, or as some would call cons of such a lifestyle and having said balance. Now, Yamuna, what do you think? What do you think regarding, is education the most important thing in life?
Okay, so from my opinion, I would say that education is definitely important because how can you live in this world without being an educated person? At least, basic knowledge and such. But definitely, I will not be on the stance that education is the sole important thing in life. There is more to life than education. Like, let's just say you are, going for a workplace, you want to try out this one company, you want to be interning there or working there full time. And then the person goes like, okay, so what's your academic achievement? And then you go on and on about how you got straight A plus for your SPM and stuff like that. And so does the other candidate. So what sets you apart from the other candidate? What is these unique characteristics that you uphold compared to the other candidate? And also revising back to the point that Eldon said just now regarding health. Health is something that is very key and very important in one's life. As you can see now that students, they take the fact that academic is their life. Missing schools for a few days, missing assignments and stuff like that is as if it's the end of the world. It's the end of your life. But we would like to uphold this mindset, at least from a Gen Z side, that academic is definitely important, but it's not your whole life. Your mental health is definitely more important than the stress you put in to uphold this amazing academic image. Let's say you have these amazing networking opportunities that you missed because you do not know how to apply these PR or public relations, characteristics in your daily life. Let's just say you and another candidate is applying for a job, same example as just now, and the other person seems to have these soft skills like networking, able to converse in various languages and such, compared to you who is only excelling in academics. Putting myself as an employer, I would definitely choose the other person because you investing everything into academics and also not having anything after that is also a waste. And let's just say you invest everything into your academic life and at the end you don't get a job. What are you going to do next? Because as we know, employment now is a big issue. Although how hard you study, it is very hard to get a job, especially in the youth nowadays. So let's just say you study like very hard and at last you get this ideal result that you're always imagining, but you didn't get a job. What is your future going to be? What is the next step you're going to take? What skills are you going to apply to continue putting food on the table or eat for yourself? So that'll be it from me.
Well, Yamuna, I have a sort of a question or a take. To just to say that you've basically said that there are many other aspects that makes you a high valued individual, especially in the realm of working. But then don't you think that um don't you think that it is a societal norm that we've always been put that no, as to be the best employer or to be the best student or to be the best in anything, you need to break yourself. The saying goes that a diamond is only formed and built under pressure. What you are saying that let's put aside the pressure, let's put aside working hard on one specific thing, which by the way, you can measure academic success. So if you're looking at person A and person B and looking at who you want to employ, we need metrics and we need some sort of an identifiable or rather a scoring sheet to see who is the best of the best. So with considering with the things that you say, me personally, I believe that that is just a surrounding factor. End of the day, even if let's say for example, I believe you guys take a minimum of 9 subjects, right? For SPM. So let's say one of them is a straight A student with 9 A's, another one is about 7 A's, 2 B's. Does then the soft skills really help you? Does it really boost you? Because again, we are coming from a culture, from a society that only looks at the best of the best, as in the people who have sat down and got achievements that are specifically measurable. So in that sense, what is your argument and how can you support and say that soft skills or are these variable factors are indeed important? Could you please clarify?
Okay. So regarding okay, let's just say one person has 9 A's and the other has 7 A's, 2 B's. And this 9A person, you would not really know exactly how well oriented this person is. Maybe she puts in her 100% in academics and zero in others. Let's just say she doesn't have these other skills that you need to survive. Because, as I said before, your life is not only revolving around academics. You might be able to solve multiple AdMaths questions. You might be able to get, A plus in your Bahasa Melayu exam. But at the end of the day, how are you going to apply it in your daily life? So let's just say this 9A's person cannot really apply this, advanced knowledge. Like I don't think you're gonna go to a supermarket and then see the radius of an apple and then only buy it, right? So like this kind of knowledge that you need to know, but you don't doesn't necessarily mean that you can apply this in your daily life. Let's just say this 7A's 2B person has much more of skills that they can apply in their daily life, networking skills, such and forth. And as we know, in this ever progressing world, we need a change. And this mindset of everyone being like, okay, if you're 9A plus, you're smart. If you get 7A's, you're not that smart. This mindset has to change because you never know, because this one exam paper or this one result slip doesn't indicate your whole life. The answers you put in on your SPM exam paper and then the results from the marking scheme is not going to indicate your whole life. It doesn't indicate your understanding on the world and also your perspective on the world. So how can you yourself, or an employer or whoever is, measure a person based on their academic results and not taking into account their skills? Because as I said before, in this progressing world we need a change. And how can you say that this academically pleasing person, this 9A person, can make that change without having these basic soft skills compared to the 7A's person? That would be my counter argument.
Well, my. Wouldn't we all agree that that was indeed a very fruitful discussion? Like the ideas, the way you guys defended it, and even being bombarded with my questions, you guys still could stand strong on your stance. Indeed, it's impressive. Impressive. I know I said that we wanted to test you guys and really prove that you guys are the best of the best in Johor. But rest assured that not only for me, but and I believe from our viewers also would agree that you guys are indeed the best of the best. Now, with that, we have been conversing and sharing a variety of things throughout this podcast. However, I'm afraid that we have bring down the curtains on today's podcast. I'm sure that we have indeed enlightened the viewers with our discussion and has definitely piqued the interest of a lot of viewers who are watching from around the world. Now, if you guys, the viewers, have any question, please feel free to just drop it down in the comment section below. We'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Now, to both to you, JSL Eldon and JSL Yam, is there anything you would like to share to your peers, your juniors, or even a message to the whole world out there?
So for me, I like to maybe tell my juniors or maybe the other people like or viewers that sometimes if when you're pursuing some things in your life and you can't achieve it, don't be sad, don't be depressed, as you need to know that will be some things that surrounding you and awaiting for you to grasp as well as the opportunity. So why don't you just try your best and then have a look around you as the world is beauty and then always try your best to keep on exploring the new world. Yeah.
Beautifully said, Eldon. I mean, even to the end of the podcast, you have done nothing but radiate absolute positivity. On to you, Yamuna.
So I would just like to say to all those viewers out there, especially the youth, which is that just believe and you can achieve. Because when I was starting my journey to become a JSL, I definitely believed in myself that I would become a JSL at some point, and by God's grace, I did. But don't be sad if you don't get to achieve what you planned, because if it's meant to be, it would be. So if that's not meant to be something that you're supposed to uphold, there'll be another golden opportunity waiting for you. Just put in the effort and also continue striving in life.
Thank you, Jessel Eldon and Jessel Young, for taking time off your busy schedule to join us on this podcast. I wish you all the best for your future endeavors and hope you'll pass your SPM with flying colors. I, Shivendra Kesavan, would like to apologize for any of the mistakes or words that have been said that might have seemed rude throughout this podcast. Please stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you.